Hello, everyone. My name is Iklav Bhargava, and I'm the team leader for Team Sourcerers. Today, I'm here to tell you about my problem statement, and according to that, related to that, company that me and my team, has been working on rigorously all this time, even after winning our first SIH competition of 2024, the software edition, in the agricultural sector. Now, that being clear that our project is all about agriculture. Its name is, as you can see, Plantair. Okay, it is the future of sustainable farming, and not just farming, like not just one type of farming where there is a farmer and he has a huge amount of land and he's able to farm and crop a lot of veggies and fruits, and you get the point, But in here, we're trying to revolutionize the basic functionality, the basic idea of farming itself. Now, how are we doing that? We're doing that in a very revolutionizing way, supposedly, by using our aeroponic towers. Now, the aeroponic towers are very, very, very good and evolutionary way of farming these days. People are using it even in their homes. But what is the main thing that people might be using this for? Well, correct. It is that it is a growing population. That's so the demand for that innovative farming solutions. It's needed because these days anything that have to be certain, that use to be certain, is not certain anymore. Take for an example the climatic conditions. That's one of the needs that plants need in order to grow, right? The crops need that to grow, right? There's a season for every single crop. That's why it is called seasons for seasonal crops, right? But what if the season tries to act out a little bit? That's what is happening these days. It is acting out. Now, it is acting out in many possible ways. Like, it is supposed to be summer season, but it is not. Rather, it is raining outside, even in the mid July, end of July. So these things are happening these days as we speak, right? So we can't take anything for certain these days. So we need to come up with such a solution that is able to put, put this in the past and helps us farmers to deal with the problems. Okay. Now, you would say that why we are doing this in the first place. Okay. So let me tell you a little bit about our use cases and who is actually going to be using our product. So first product user that we are targeting is going to be the people living in the urban areas, right? We're talking about farming in urban areas. How is that going to be happening is, well, we're using a revolutionary aeroponic tower, and it is not just an aeroponic tower, it is IoT and AI enabled that I'll be explaining later on in the video how it is using both of those things to create such an embedded system that is helping the farmers to grow and the urban people to grow crops very, very effortlessly, if I might add. So the first audience is the urban people, right? So the urban people, they're not very famous for farming as such, but why are they not famous for that? Why aren't they doing it? Because they have a lot going on as it is. Why? Because they have jobs, they have kids, they have a whole metropolitan life to take care of. And on top of that, they procrastinate, the season is not there, the land is not there, the climate is not there, the motivation, they lack totally hundreds and millions of different things to be able to farm. Well, we are taking care of all of that through our aeroponic tower, smart aeroponic tower, I might add, and that we are enabling our tower with IoT, and we're enabling it with AI features that is able to, mend all of the features of farming into a singular hardware from software project, or might as well a product nowadays. That's how it is able to, monitor every single thing using the different sensors that we have installed on the different sectors and segments of the tower. And it is able to create such immersive environment for the crops so that the crops are able to grow now. That's how it is working. And the AI in the backend is also helping the tower to react in a special kind of ways where simple embedded system fails, because we are talking about farming, we're talking about revolutionizing it. Well, we need to have such a thing, such a way where we are, doing that, it is taking care of every single dynamic thing that it is doing. So, we are just revolutionizing traditional farming, planter, and our goal is to make the sustainable, low maintenance farming accessible to everyone, no matter where they live, no matter who they are. Now, features of planter: automated watering system, rotating towers, humidity management, and user-friendly AI integration and IoT integration. Okay. The IoT watering system that is totally automated. The automated watering system that is automated using IoT. How we are doing that? We have applied certain sensors, such as capacitive soil moisture sensor, in every single pot that we are planting the plants in, one on each extension, and taking a help from that, we are able to measure the amount of moisture that is going inside of the plant, that is going, the actual way where this whole aeroponic tower works is, the basic one is there is a certain tank, a water tank, as you might be able to see in the AI generated picture over here. So this is that tanker in which that water is being stored. Well, it can be massive or maybe even tiny according to the needs of the plants. We can customize it. It's no biggie. And using this thing, there's a pipe connecting this tank, and that pipe connects that motor inside of the tank, that pump inside of the tank that actually takes the water and then pulls it all over to the first, like the topmost flow that there is. So in this case, right over here, and then it is going to able to be like spread the water flow into three different compartments. But like you can just change and have that different compartments. So it will be able to direct the channel, the water flow into different compartments that we have provided the water to flow in according to our, you know, according to our 3D printed prototype that we have created. And then it is going to channel it all the way through to give the water personally to every single plant according to their need. That's how we have, kind of like monitored. Now I will be able to show you better how we are doing this. See, this is a rotating plate over here, and this whole thing is our 3D printed prototype. Okay. Now, see these holes, our channels, the water downwards where the plant actually is present. And these holes that you are able to see right here are the segments where we are going to plant the saplings after we are going to put it in the rock wool. That's how an aeroponic system actually works. And once it reaches the roots, the cocoa pit or the rock wool mixture that we are using, so once it reaches that point, it is going to soak the rock wool and then dry it as well at the point where our data set meets like the water amount. And when the capacitive soil moisture sensor that is connected to this compartment, as you can see in the slide, will denote the amount of water that it is receiving at any given point of time, right? So right as it reaches that point, this plate will rotate as such in the opposite direction that it is, it's rotating in right now, so that it is disaligned now in a way, and the water will be cut off and it won't be provided to the plants anymore, right? So that's how we are channeling and automating our water supply system each plant. We're not just cutting off the supply once all of the tower is grown gone, because why we did that feature is, because first of all, why did we even introduce that feature? Because first of all, we're not just targeting a farmer who's going to mass produce a single kind of crop and then sell it all over the country or whatever he's growing it for. We are also planning to sell it to the urban cities and urban areas. They don't need to grow in that amount, that large amount, So that is why we are selling it, so that, each extension is able to grow different type of crops, if you will. Different type of things. So one extension is growing tomatoes, other ones might be growing some parsley, other one might be growing some lettuce, other one might be doing some chilies. You get the point, right? So that's how it actually works in our tower, rather than other towers in which you just have to grow different type of plants in every single extension. No, there is no such option in there. Now, the rotating towers. We have installed LDR sensors on the breast of the exposure points that will be exposed to the sunlight. We have done that because most of the people who are living in the urban areas, they and also they can, they have a balcony and they can very well use it to plant their crops, or maybe even install our aeroponic tower. But as I've shown you in this slide, only one of these spots is going to receive the sunlight in a given period of time. If you're according to the position of the placement of the pots, right? That's how it is going to work. But to solve this situation, we installed LDR sensors that actually senses the light that is coming onto them, and also senses on, it is going to be placed on the each like 60 degrees of the plant because it is a cylindrical object anyways. So we have placed each on the 60 degrees. And the LDR sensors that is going to receive a lesser amount of light magnitude in the LDR sensor that is going the LDR sensors that is going to receive the less amount of light in the terms of magnitude. That's the one that is going to get on the front. The algorithm works in a way that thing will rotate in itself and give and circulate the amount of light. The distribution of light is going to happen. It will give every single pot, every single spot its own amount of sunlight to grow the plant that they are growing. Okay. That is how it is going to work. The whole tower in itself is going to rotate using a gear mechanism that we have designed using the 3D printers. Okay. And then the humidity management, we are doing that using the IoT device. Ultrasonic humidifier. Okay. Next point, the humidity management. How are you going to do that? Well, we are using another IoT component. It's called an ultrasonic humidifier. Okay, to adjust the microclimate inside and around the tower so that the plant is able to get the exact amount of humidity that it needs to grow the particular amount of plants. And all the data set for that is also going to be in our data sets. We have created such small devices and planted it all over the farms, real farms of the people who are doing the traditional farming to gather the data of the moisture, humidity, and the sunlight. It has all those three sensors. And on the basis of that, it collects the data and upload it to the Google Sheets using our App Store. And we train a model according to that. Okay, so that's how our tower is able to respond to the real-time environment. And user-friendly IoT integration. It is not that, by the down the line, we do plan to take this to the farmers as well. Okay, so if we are going to make it more and more complex, the farmer is not going to be able to use it. The modern day farmers, they're not that smart. I mean, they're getting smart, but if you give them a high-tech thing, they struggle to use it anyways, like the drones, like the big machineries that they are for, the agricultural purposes. They're not able to use it. They're not able to use it to the fullest. They're always skeptical about something that is going to get wrong, and then they'll have to pay a hefty amount of money to recover from that. But they don't need to worry about any of that in our system. Okay, so there's just a switch that to on and off the tower. Plus, then there is two switches to traverse the list of the things that you can draw on that tower in that particular season that it will be showing. We have used our tower is actually very conservative of the resources that we're using. Okay, so these resources are conservative in a way where we're using no amount of what, like nil in the comparison of what they're using these days, because they're using tons and tons of water that they don't need. Sometimes they overflood the fields and then the crops go wild and hundreds of different stuff like that. So we are using sustainable use of water because we are providing the plants with the exact amount of water as they might need, and the excess water goes back down to the container to be reused again in the next cycle of the water. Okay, then we're using less amount of land. Imagine a farmer has 100 by 100 land, okay, and on top of that, he's able to grow 100 crops. Now we are using an aeroponic tower. That is a vertical farming technique. So the plants are going to be one on top of each other. In each extension, the minimum amount of plant that or crop that a farmer can grow is going to be three. As I've shown you in our basic prototype, this can be four or five according to the need of the farmer or the user that is ordering the plant on our own website that we have created as well. But let's just suppose that you're on the basic model, the most basic model that comes with the three installed inside of it. And if they're using that, and suppose it goes to the 17 extension, then you can only think that the whole thing is going to be producing 51 time crops. Now let's just add in the calculation that some of them are going to be diseased. Even the disease thing may have taken care of by making a disease prediction algorithm. It just takes a photo from a small module that we have installed on top of the tower, and you can also use it using our phone application that you can install in your own Android and iOS device. It's cross-platform, so you can use that and scan by clicking an image of any of the plants. It will scan the plant, the type, how the leaves look, how the flowers look, and it will be able to tell you if plant have any kind of disease. And then we have different nutrient sensor installed in the water tanker to be able to tell if a certain nutrient that is required for the currently growing plant is missing. And then we have dynamic nutrient provider right inside of the tanker only that is going to replenish the nutrient as the sensor inside of it detects that it is diminishing. So we have done all that. And the land thing, using the same amount of land, we're going to be producing at least 45 times more crops. So the farmer needs to put less amount of efforts. They need to put less amount of raw materials. They need to spend less money. They will get more crops out of it. And we have taken care of the end-to-end solution. How, you might ask, our tower is able to detect how much of the growth, how much of the production has been done by each cycle because it stays constant. In fact, we have factored that inside of our own algorithm that predicts that, yeah, there's X amount of, X kgs or X tons of tomatoes that we have produced this year. So what's cool about the tower as well is that the farmer doesn't need to do anything in this as well, like, our motto is. So we are providing an end-to-end solution. How, you might ask? We have our own second version of the website that is able to put and sell the website across different areas, across the different buyers. We're going to invite them. They can just be there, click on the crop, the farmer, the place where it is coming from, and it'll be delivered to them. So we are, minimizing the need of all the middlemen. But how is the farmer going to upload that how much he has produced on the website? That's not something the farmer can do, right? Well, you don't need to do that. Our tower, as shocking it might be to listen, but our tower is actually going to update by the end of the production time. If it is at the 100% capacity of production, if none of the plants were, caused harm by any means of disease or anything, so it'll, let's just suppose that it is on 100%, and that is going to be an X amount. That X amount will be uploaded to the website, and from there, the online searching platform, the scraping platform will search for that particular price per ton or per kg, and then it will upload the whole documentation on the website itself by itself. And the farmer is all ready to sell it up because he has made a lot more production than usual, and he needs a website to sell that to the regular buyers, to the genuine buyers that we are going to be providing them with. So the buyer is getting a genuine farmer, and the farmer is getting a genuine buyer, and all the middlemen who were taking the profit out of the pockets of the farmers and the buyers, they're not in the case, they're not in the cycle no more. That's what we are planning to do. Increasing the productivity, prevention of soil erosion. Well, you no longer need to cut all of those huge fields and forests in order to make a field and then do some cropping or agriculture or farming there because that's not needed anymore. You don't need to dig up the soil anymore. You don't need to do that 2D farming things anymore. We're not even using soil anymore. So the need of soil in itself just minimizes and then reduces the cost production. Well, I've already explained how that is going to happen. And we have also overcame some challenges like separating water storage, evenly sunlight exposure, no air pollution, well, burning of the stubble because we are reusing the stubble to make the body of our next batches of the towers that we're going to be producing. Mixing it with HDPE, that is high density polyethylene that we use. It is a great combining material. And then we are using evenly water distribution, no wastage of water, minimal using of organic soil. Now, types of user, I've already cleared that up. It is urban and rural. The urban people looking for aesthetics, customizations, home decor, high demand of organic food, small scale farming, more trust, more green, and also they're able to use it in different type of ways as well. How? Well, there are different type of nursery these days that are creating all of these crops and storing these crops at the miniature stage. They can use it as well. There are different stadiums that are using these things as well. They can be using these things as well. Aeroponic towers, where they're able to do it all, without even because they are already planting a huge amount of plants in the boundaries. So they can use our aircon tower as a customizable aesthetic way of doing that. And the rule, well, more profit, decreasing any expenditure of the farmer, easy to use, more profitability, large scale farming done even on the larger scale now, and direct connection with consumers. Well, that was all from my side. And yeah, we're happy to work with APF and the APF internship because it is giving us a great opportunity to do something good for the nation, do something good for everybody, making this world, making Earth a better place to live. Because I want you to shed some light on the conditions of the farmer, right? Farmers' condition is very poor these days. They're working tirelessly for the people of the country so that they can get food. But are they getting rewarded according to that? No. They have to work tirelessly, even if they have bad health, even if they have no profit out of it. They work just to feed the whole nation, just to feed the mouths of the families, right? So it's only fair that us engineers are able to do something for them. We can do something like this will help not just the farmers, not just the urban people, but the climate in general. And on top of that, we're also very thrilled to work because this is one of the causes that are very close to all of the hearts of our team members as well, because most of us come from the farming background only. And it would be a great thing to revolutionize the farming and take it to the next level by integrating some AI and the power of IoT into it. That is me, Eklavya Bhardwaj, the leader of the team Sourcerers for Plantair, and that is it from my side. Thank you, guys. Well, this is a financial overview. We want to go over it. How much a farmer is going to be saving throughout the year, and how much he's going to be reducing the revenue. How much we are going to make, and how we are going to make. We're going to be charging a few amounts from the yearly profit of the farmer because now they are going to be, we're providing them a helping hand. We're providing them with helping hand from the time they are growing the crops. In fact, you grow the crops to sell it to the viewers, to the customers all around the world, right? As we're providing the much needed help to the farmers to grow the crops in itself and then sell it to the end users and making profit for everybody. We are taking in because when the farmer is way more than what he was used to, he's going to be more profitable. So we are going to take a bunch of profit margin from the farmer after 1 year of his own growth period of time, so that he sees that he's making a tremendous amount of profit, and then he won't budge. He won't have a problem giving us 5% of it. So that's how we are going to make a regular amount of money from the farmers. And as for the urban people, we are actually selling our towers. There are 3 different tier of towers that we are going to be selling. One is basic, then the medium, and then the advanced. The basic one is going to have simple water filtration system that is connected into the tower, water tanker, and then it'll only have and it will only have a few IoT gadgets. That is the main one for the water supply. That is capacitive soil moisture sensor and DHT11 for humidity and temperature reporting for the real time real time suggestions to the farmer that what they need to grow via IoT stream. Then in the medium ones, we're also providing the LDR to actually rotate the tower in itself to match the amount of sunlight that each plants are getting from each side, and then to advanced versions where we are going to be setting up, and then we're going to be providing them with the whole ecosystem that they can set that will help them. That ecosystem will create a whole bunch of lightings that the plant need to grow, so that eliminating the need of LDR in itself. And it is only going to be for large scale production like a go downs and stuff. So we're going to be doing that as well. And it'll be an end-to-end solution as well. So we're going to be giving all our premium subscriptions and premium services to them. And lastly, I would like to tell you that all this seems very expensive for farmers to switch to. Well, for the urban people, they don't really care. They have the money for it these days, and what we're targeting is the not the lower middle class, but the medium middle class and the upper middle class anyway. So they are doing this, and I've seen the normal aeroponic towers being used in my colony as well. Well, it is growing day by day, but there's still a very less amount of competition in terms of who we are going against as our competition. So there are a lot less amount of companies that are playing around with aeroponic. There must be a lot of companies using hydroponics these days, but not so much for the aeroponic. But shedding some light on yojanas of the Indian government. The current Indian government, Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, has proposed this solution for farmers to converting their 2D regular farms into an actual aeroponic farms. They're going to be providing the subsidies up to 2 crores to switch that thing. So it is actually a no-brainer these days that how this is going to be creating a lot more profit